Guys, welcome to today's video. Today, just like the title says, I'm going to do my makeup like I did 25 years ago. And I've seen videos like this from time to time, although usually it's from girls who are in their 20s saying, I'm doing my makeup like I did in high school, like 5 years ago. 25 years ago. But here's the hook. I'm using a lot of the same makeup, i.e. some of this makeup is 25 years old. Not all of it, but yes, some of it. So if that sounds like a fun goof to you, then keep on watching. Consider giving the video a thumbs up, and I guarantee you, parts of this look will not be too bad. Parts of it will be bad. Let's get going. I'm going to put my hair up because yesterday was a beautiful spring day. It was Easter, and today it's getting a little warm. Wife beater is back. All right, hopefully that will stay up. I'm getting used to my haircut. This is my second shampoo in style. I'm like, okay, I'm getting used to it, So let's start with foundation, and I'm going to talk while I apply. This is from FaceVisage Beauty. Never heard of it? Why would you? It was only available at Nordstrom. It's a cream. It is the perfect foundation for me, the perfect color for me. And this is the story of how I went from wearing makeup to wearing no makeup. So I'm just going to pick some up, and you're going to see how easily this blends in. And this is my perfect shade. I'm sweating just a teeny bit. Let's just hit that. Oh, my skin's not looking bad today at all. I've already put on my sunscreen and my skincare. It's funny, I put this on yesterday and the experience was slightly different because I had, I think, more moisturizer on my face. So this was something that I got at Nordstrom's back in the day. Okay, sweat, not good. A little bit of a do-over here. And it was the perfect color for me. Before then, I had, like most people, tried foundations from various companies. When I was in my 20s and 30s, there was a company called Prescriptives, which I think was owned by Clinique, which all of it's owned by Estee Lauder. And it kind of was a bridge between Estee Lauder, which was, at that time, it was for older women, such as myself now, and Clinique, which was really for younger women. Clinique, for me, was the gateway to adult, if you will. I still remember getting that bar soap and the toner and the moisturizer as a set, thinking, ooh, I'm a big girl now. I mean, now I know that I think they've reformulated it, but I know now that it wasn't the best stuff in the world. But when I found this, it was it. This was all I wanted to wear, and it worked so well on me. It was a great color, really good coverage, and looked very, very natural. And then one day I went to Nordstrom's to get some more, and they weren't there anymore. And I asked somebody else, what's going on? I need to get my foundation. Said, yeah, we don't sell this brand anymore. I made some phone calls, and it was exclusive to Nordstrom's. There was nowhere else to get it. And this was kind of, you guys, before the internet was really big, so we were doing email and stuff. But you weren't shopping or really researching on the internet in those days. There was a little bit, but it wasn't very deep. It was more like, about famous people. Getting a bio on a famous person or something. And it wasn't until a couple of years later, still frustrated, still unable to find something that I liked, something that worked for me. I mean, hello. I'm just going to kind of meld everything in with the heat of my hands and fingers. I found out the story behind this. So this was sold at Nordstrom's. I don't even know if it was throughout the country, but it was in California, I think, certainly. And one of the things that this company did was color match. So if you had a lipstick that had been discontinued or an eyeshadow that had been discontinued, you could bring it to them and they'll match it for you. They'll make it for you. Well, it turns out that Revlon wanted to restart their company, Charles of the Ritz, and color matching was one of the things either the company did previously or they're going to have the company do. And Revlon didn't want to have any competition, so they bought Visage Beauty and they closed it down. And then they never came out with Charles of the Ritz. So they still own the formula, and they could certainly bring it back because it's insane. Look at this, you guys. It really looks like nothing. It has a little bit of yellow in it, not too much yellow, just like me. And I flipping love it. And you can build it up. So if I'm thinking, you know, I want you to be able to see the blush that I'm wearing, so I want to cover my cheeks a little bit more. I am deeply, deeply saddened. Now, when I did wear this in my 30s, I think early 30s to when they stopped, which was probably, I don't know, maybe I was 32, 33, 34. My skin was more oily than it is now. I was, you know, I consider my skin always to be kind of normal, but a little bit of an oily T-zone, and it worked fine. Now my skin is drier, and it looks freaking amazeballs. Revlon, thank you so much. So this was my foundation. This is 25 years old. I never threw this away because it was with a broken heart. I gaze at it from time to time, and I have from time to time, just a couple of times, brought this in with me when I'm looking to match a foundation. I'm not going to do that anymore. This will be my last probably peek at this, unless I find something that, wow, this might be a dupe, formula-wise and color-wise, then I might take it out again. I love that. I can't tell you how many other foundations I tried to get the same thing going. I tried Bobbi Brown, I tried, what is her name? Trish McAvoy, I tried MAC, I tried brand after brand after brand in these kinds of formulas, nothing. And then I gave up on this kind of formula and I just tried to get a color match. And this is why I pretty much stopped wearing makeup, because I couldn't find a color match for me. I couldn't find a formula that I really loved. And I went to just, you know, smudging on like a chubby stick eyeliner and blending it and putting on some mascara. And that's what I did for many years. And then I just stopped altogether. And then I was invited to a party and I thought, let me put on my makeup. And I put it on exactly the way I did maybe 10 years earlier, and it didn't work. That's the look we're going to do today. Now for concealer, when I thought of this idea the other night, I was laying in bed going, what concealer did I use? I have no memory of it at all. Maybe I just put this foundation under my eyes, which, you know, that would be like me. It was only when I went to go pull this out that I found these and I remembered. Prescriptives. I think these are still available. Prescriptives is no longer in stores, but I guess they got enough people saying, how dare you, that you can buy online. So these are not 25 years old. I've bought these in the last 7 or 8 or 10 years or so. I have two colors, warm 2 and warm 3. Too light, too dark, so I'm going to mix them together. Really creamy. So those are those two colors. And add a little bit more of the white one. Even though the light one says it's warm, it's not terribly, terribly warm. I will link below all the things that are still existing, because there are things that are still existing here. While this is a cream, it's not horribly, horribly emollient. So if you have skin that is more on the oily side, I don't think you should shy away from this. You should give it a try. It's not dry though, like the NARS Soft Matte, but it's not going to slide all over your face. And it's at the same time, I don't find it to be drying either. Boom. I just feel fresh and lovely. Really, really love. Now, I never did anything to my eyebrows. In fact, I was one of those people who tweezed their eyebrows. And I remember being complimented on the shape that I was able to get. I was really into that. Now, I don't do that anymore. But the eyeshadow that I used was pretty much this. I had a lot of shadows from Bobbi Brown. This one is Fawn. And I like this because, yes, it's taupe, But there's a little bit of sheen to this. There's a little bit of dimension to it as well. There it is right there. So it's a cooler taupe that has just a little something, and I did not do anything articulate on my eyes at all. I was always hooded. You don't get to be this hooded having been not hooded, you know, but my hoodedness has gotten more so. So we'll see. I'm picking up a MAC 217, and I just kind of, you know, put the color on the lid and called it a day. I had other colors. I had, you know, the Bobbi Brown book, and bought all the colors to get an eye look, which for her was 3. You start with something really light, and then you go with something medium toned, and then you go something with darker. And I did that, but I eventually got to the place where I was just pretty much using one color on my eyes. I just wanted to look good and pulled together. I was working in an office and wanted to look professional. And as tempted as I am to apply it like I would now, like pulling it out, I don't think I did that then. I really don't. So I do feel like I have a little more on this side than that side. Okay, I'm just going to try to even them up. I might be deviating the shape, but not the product. So one and done before anybody knew what a one and done was, and one and done with powder, which you can absolutely, positively, 100% do. Before we finish the eyes, I thought, because the eyes were going to go, I'm just going to get a little weird, I want to go on with some blush. And again, Bobbi Brown was the way for me. I cannot find the other blush that I used, and I know I didn't throw it away, but this color I did use all the time, and this is called Sand Pink. And I paired it with the other color, which is called, I think it's called Pale Pink. And then eventually got to the point where I wasn't doing Sand Pink, I was just doing Pale Pink. But I was a little bit older when I was doing that. I am taking this brush by Trish McAvoy. This is a blush brush, and it is Goat. And I'm taking up that Sand Pink. And I've always put my cheek products, you know, here. And I usually don't kind of pat on. I prefer to sweep, but I usually am using a Squirrel, which is much softer, and you don't have to worry about Squirrel removing your foundation. And this color is still being made. Might be a little uneven. And let's talk about lips. I remember 3 lip colors. 2 were from Prescriptives. One was very warm, and I don't remember the name. And the other one was Navy Rose, which was a rosy mauvey color with a lot of blue undertone to it. And then I remember like Twig and Del Rio from MAC. A couple of years ago I bought this. This is a palette from Japanesque. And I sat one afternoon and I melted down everything that I had and, you know, made this nice little palette for myself on some of the older things that I have, which I just couldn't make myself throw them away, even though they're super old. I don't have that color in here, so I don't know what happened to Navy Rose, and I don't have anything that is really super close to it. So this Bobbi Brown Rose Petal seems like it might be somewhat close. We're going to put that on the lips and see what happens. And this for sure is not good anymore. And this color is not really it. So what I think I'm going to do is kind of mix a couple of things from this palette and see if I can get what it was. That is probably not too far off from what I wore. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it exactly. I'm going to take some of this Del Rio, which definitely I have to throw away after this video. But the Del Rio is quite dark, and I do believe the color I used it just wasn't quite this. This is probably a little bit closer to what I had going on my lip in those days. But it's quite old. And these, I'm telling you guys, they're so old. It's not like I'm going to continue to use these, but it's such a nice reference point to have everything laid out like this and have the names of things, and sometimes you can try to match something, so I'm not going to throw that away. But Del Rio, bye-bye. Now, I feel like the look that I have is really fresh, really lovely. I would really want to draw in my brows a little bit, but I'm not going to. A little mascara, and we're pretty good. I think that this look doesn't age me. It's not old-fashioned, and it's quite fresh and lovely. But this isn't where it stops, you guys, because I used to line both my upper and my lower, my waterline and my tight line. And that is what kind of kills it. I didn't always use this product from Guerlain, but I found it when I was looking for things for this video, and I thought, let's do it. This is a kohl. It's a powder kohl inside here, and the wand goes in to pick up the powder. And this is very similar to something that is in Indian culture. I don't know if they do it anymore, but if you have seen Passage to India, the male character in that used something like this, and men used it, not women. And you kind of go like this. It can be messy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Boom, worked. But because it's powder, over time, like, you know, a couple of hours, it will kind of start to fall down a little bit because it's a powder. But I feel like this is what happened when I did my makeup that day, that I was going to go to this party, and I thought, let's just go all out and put some makeup on. When I did this, I thought, what is going on? My face has completely changed. Now I'm just going to start in the front, because I did the whole eye. Hi. This is where we get into trouble. So I actually in those days did use a curling iron because my lashes used to go down. Isn't that strange? They don't anymore, they go up. But what's really interesting is now this little skin below the lashes, you can see it. I think as I got older, my whole lid's kind of turning up. But I'm going to see if I can remedy this with a ton of mascara. And I don't remember what mascara I wore. I do remember that I always hated mascara because it always smudged. It was always down here. And I didn't have a mirror in my office, so it's not like I was checking myself all the time. And it wasn't until I go to the bathroom that I'd see these clumps. So I developed this very, very, very bad habit of just, you know, I'm working in my office and I'll just go like this. If someone comes by, I go whoop, whoop, and kind of smudge away something, even if it's not actually there. But things I feel has changed for mascara. One thing that's changed for the better, they're not all over your face anymore. But I remember at the time I had tried Great Lash, which, you know, all the magazines were saying the best mascara, everybody uses this. I had tried Lancome, I had tried many, and they pretty much all sucked until I found Hourglass Film Noir, which they don't make anymore. So I'm wondering if adding a lot of mascara will help make this liner look less hard. But I think probably not. I'm going to take a little smudger and just make sure. So I'm getting a little bit of a wing out of that actually, just by pulling up like this. Whatever was left at the outer corner made a teeny bit of a wing. But I think actually of all my makeup, it was really, I don't know, I mean, I kind of like it, but it makes my eyes look smaller, I think. And that was when I decided I need to relearn how to put makeup on my face. And I need to find a foundation that is actually a good color for me. And I since have found, it took a long time to find some brands that made good colors for me. But I have to say, you guys, putting this foundation on again, it's so damn good. And mind you, it is very hot. I'm sweating, you know, in my arms. but I feel like this foundation is amazing, and you know, Revlon could, they own it, they could bring it back. So you guys, there we have it. This is how I wore my makeup. My face was different, but this is how I wore my makeup when I was, you know, in my 30s, my early 30s, until they stopped making this beautiful, luscious, wonderful cream foundation that I adore so, so much. I would love to hear what your thoughts are. Do you recognize any of these products, any of the colors that I've mentioned? What were you doing at that time? Do you think I could get away with this look in real life? I kind of feel no. And I kind of feel it's about this liner. It's a little, it doesn't really work on me anymore, I don't think. But I don't know. What do you think? This is fun. This is going down memory lane. I've also pulled out some other things that I wore at that time, some older makeup, and I just wanted to share that with you. So this is my final look. I'm not going to, I don't think, add anything to it, but I wanted to show you a couple of blushes that are no longer being made that I wore. So I had a couple of Chanel's, this one here, which look how blue that is. I want to swatch it for you. It doesn't have a scent anymore. It's called Rose Cachet, and this is the color. And there's the eyeshadow, and I can see why I wore it, because I was into those kind of tones, and they work really well together. It's so funny, once it's swatched, it doesn't quite look as blue. And then this is called Tempting Beige, and it's broken. And it's just a lovely, lovely blush to use. For me, I was thinking more night, when you just don't know, you don't want to have a real blushy, blushy look like this, but you want to have something, and that's that right there. And then another eyeshadow that I used quite a bit, but I used it not really at work so much. I did do a purple eye. I do have that palette still, I think a Chanel palette, but more for weekend or for, you know, off-work situations. And let me see if I can find it. Here it is. It was upside down right in front of me. So this is a shimmer wash in Lilac from Bobbi Brown, and it looks like this. I loved this because there was something about it that was kind of luminous. Looking at it here, it's like it's just a plain old matte lavender, but it's not. I'm running out of room. But I do feel that the formula has changed as it's gotten older, which makes sense. It's right there. There's something very, very special on the lids to me, and whenever I wore this, I didn't pound it on. I wasn't going for a pastel kind of look. It was just a sheer wash. It kind of is reminiscent of, I'm going to put a little on, of the color that is already in my lids. So it was just a flattering, unexpected kind of color. I've never used these two together, so I don't know what's going to happen with that, but just a little bit of a wash of something. I wasn't as experimental with makeup in those days as I am now. I don't know if you can discern a big difference that that has made for me, but that's pretty much it, you guys. What do you think? Do you think I could get away with this in real life, or almost get away with it in real life? Let's see what my hair is doing today, because you just never know from day to day. There we go. That's kind of the whole look. My hair was much longer then. It was actually close to the length that it was 2 weeks ago before it got cut. But it was also not layered. It was just like really long and pretty much a blunt cut. So it kind of went out like this. But pretty much, you guys, this is me, about 32 years old. What do you think? I hope this was fun for you and might have provided a little bit of a walk down memory lane, and I would love to hear what is familiar to you and what you remember, and if you used any of these or if you liked any of them. And I will link below things that are still available, because several of these things are. And that is going to wrap up today's video, you guys. Thanks so much for spending some time with me. I hope it was fun, and I hope you come back again. Until we meet again, be safe and smart, and I'm wishing you good health.